This is a lovely piece of applewood. It's a crutch piece actually, where two branches meet into the one. And sometimes, not all the time, you get a very nice looking grain in that junction. Going to mount this on the lathe sideways. Follow me. Normally I get a faceplate on here, but my 2-inch faceplate's gone missing in the workshop. Got a new one on order. It should be here today or tomorrow, but I'm going to trap it into centres. The object of the plan is to get a tenon on the bottom of this crutch, and then I'll probably take it over to the bandsaw just to get it a little bit more shapely without using too much of the tools to make it a round object. So first steps first, get a tenon. So there's about the size of this piece. I'm still going over the edge here, but I should be able to keep that within these confines of the crutch. The idea here is get a circle out or a bowl out. So I'm going to get onto the bandsaw now, take off these edges, get a little rounder, keeping close to this edge here as possible, and then we'll bring it back to the lathe and finish off the tenon. As you can see, it's been turned around on the truck, and the tenon now is firmly in the small truck, holding the what will be the internals of the bowl. Still got to get this round. I've chopped off as much as I can with the handsaw and the bandsaw, and going to get the outside nice and round. Sometimes the piece can get smaller, smaller and smaller. We're talking probably about a 4-inch diameter small bowl here, but I'm trying to hold on to the grain structure which is here, a bit of an inclusion here, which I'm going to leave as much of this as possible because it looks good. And of course I want to keep as much of this knot that's here, and if the deeper I go, the deeper it gets, so I'm going to try and keep most of these features that's on the outside of this bowl because it is very attractive. Going to make the bottom a little bit curvier here, and then almost going to go for a hollow form on the front of this. And there's not much meat on the end of the truck, so it wouldn't need a tailstock. It's just got to get around these curves to hollow out the inside. So I'm going to use the trusty CVA glue to stabilise this knot. We don't want it floating out in future times, drying out, etc., and it just drops out on the table. Don't think the owner would probably be too fussed about that, I'd say. So I'm going to stabilise that and go a little bit further and get the finishing cuts done. I'm going to use thin CA glue. I use Starbond thin CA glue. And I'm just going to put this around the edge of this knot very sparingly, because this does stain the wood when you get it over the grain that you don't want it to. A very smidgen of instant curing, so that look at the ants that are coming out here now. You see those little fellows coming out of that knot since the CA glue has gone in. They've been habitated in the middle. Well, they're going to be in a bit of shock because once we go inside the bowl, if there's a bit of a nest there, we're going to take it all out. Another feature. Bam. I'm going to be using a hollowing tool called the Woodcut Flexi Hollower. I'm going to focus in on this head here a little bit. You can see here that it is actually not a carbide cutter. It is a sideways ground, I guess, gouge with a brass stop at the top to stop the gouge, which is this piece here. Get around here a bit with this piece here. There's about a millimetre gap between that and the brass stop. So the bite is probably less than a millimetre against the surface of the timber. So when it goes in to that point, it won't dig into the side. Well, that's the theory. I've used this 2 or 3 times before to some success. It's got to have a very short tool rest here because we want to try and get the tool rest as close to the edge of this cutter so that we've got full support. If it does catch, then the tool rest will save the day. And this bowl is fairly small. As I said, it's about 4 inches in diameter, and it's held into the truck pretty well tight on that tenon. And this is definitely a hard wood, so it's not something that's soft that's going to tear off the tenon. So here we go, and see if we can progress the hollowing. You can see here the shavings that have been taken off, just like normal bowl gouge shavings, coming off very nicely. So it is cutting nice. It is hollowing out to a reasonable depth. I did use the forcener bit to take the depth down initially to get most of the meat out. It's really taking the insides out. So we'll press forward a little longer. Okay, you can see the depth of the bowl, and it is now rounded out to the sides. I'm probably about 1/4 inch away from the outside of the bowl. So I'm not going to go any deeper or any thinner. It's time for a bit of a sanding session. Of course, guys, I won't bore you with all that. I'll sand up to 400 grit on the outside. Still going to go with a little bit of the Acks paste and carbon polish, and see how she comes up. So a little bit further, and then we can turn around and get the tenon off the bottom of that shape. It's looking pretty good, actually. Stick with me. So keep in mind, it started with this and ended up with this. It's much smaller than the original piece of crotch applewood that we were using as a project. There's the inside of the bowl, and you can see the inside rim. And the actual grain and structure of this bowl has turned out just magnificent. That was the featured knot there. That's all filled and smooth, and it came up a gem as far as polishing was concerned. The bottom came out convex and hides the maker's badge so it doesn't wobble on the table. The rim's been touched here, and yeah, the whole thing's 4 inches in diameter and 3 inches height. The actual shape of the bowl is how the wood dictates to the gouge, I guess. At the end of the day, you see as you go, and you're taking out the inclusions and leaving what's there and what's not, and yeah, Bob's your uncle. So there it is, guys. Next week for another project. Hope you enjoyed it. See you then. Cheers.